Howdy.
Hey, what's up, Angel?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
You're in New York?
Yeah, I'm in Queens.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Queens, New York. I'm from the
Brother
Bronx.
li-
The city of New York, Boricua from the Bronx.
my brother lives in Astoria.
Oh yeah, I have found a physical therapist out there, but he doesn't take my insurance, so I haven't. I was like, yeah, I can't
Sounds
rock
just
with
like
you, bro.
that, right?
I can't rock with that, man. I work with a guy who doesn't take insurance, but he's like actually really helped me. So this was gonna be just taking another chance with someone else because I thought they had insurance. But
And coming out of pocket.
yeah, yeah. So me and this dude, we kind of worked it out where I gave him a gaming computer. Initially, I paid him, right? And then I was like, yeah, bro, I was like, yo, listen, man, let's barter this, bro. This is expensive, man. And I got laid off of work. So I'm like, yo, what's up, man? You want a gaming? This thing is dope. It's souped up, you know. So I hooked him up with the gaming computer. I gave him my Iron Neck. I don't know if you ever seen that, the Iron Neck
Yeah.
device. And he's like, yeah, I'll give you 20 sessions, man. I'm like, wow, that's excessive. I didn't expect to get that much, but okay, cool. You know,
Hell yeah.
you know, gotta
Are you Puerto Rican?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hell yeah. I was
What do
gonna
you
say
go?
that's mad Rican of you, bro.
Yeah, there you go, man. It's like,
I'm
oh,
half Puerto Rican, so I
yeah, so
know I know
Puerto
about
Rican
that
and
life.
Cuban. Yeah, so how's that work, man?
Yeah,
Like, how's that mix
bro.
work
It's
growing up, bro? By the way,
you
before we
know.
even go there, introduce yourself real quick, and
Oh
we'll
yeah.
just flow from there.
Oh yeah. What's up, guys? My name is Frank Huerta. Yeah, bro. I don't know. At night I fight when it's dark. I fight with myself. I just need conflict.
Ah, no, abre la
Yeah,
ventana. No, cierra la ventana.
exactly. Stuff like that. Yeah, my father's Cuban. My mother's Puerto Rican. My father's from Queens. He grew up mostly in Queens, and then my mother grew up mostly in the Heights.
Oh, so actually,
That's the
that
deal.
sounds like that might have more Dominican influence, bro. She might have some.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. In my entire family, like extended cousins, aunts, and uncles, we're Cuban, Puerto Rican, Colombian, and Dominican. That's our four. So
Yeah.
family parties are lit for sure.
A lot of dancing, right? Yeah, I
A lot of
imagine.
dancing. Yeah, no, a lot.
Oh.
Not dancing is not really an option because some aunt or someone's pulling you out.
Well, it's wild because by being Cuban or being Puerto Rican or Dominican, I don't know about the Colombian side. I don't know much about the genealogy, but those three I mentioned by default have others that make it to begin with, right? You have the native, you have the white, and you have the African. To make Puerto Rican, to make Cuban, to make Dominican,
Yeah,
and then to
I
have all those like mixes is pretty wild, man.
I always tell my friends that's like it's really ironic being a Hispanic person because you got to understand you have the indigenous Indians, you have the slaves that were brought over, and then you have the white conquistador all in one body.
Yeah.
So it's kind of what makes like they say it's a fiery personality, but if you think about it, like it has to be.
Mm. There is a
You know what I
conflict
mean?
by default, right? In your physical
In your
makeup, there's
genes.
yeah,
Yeah,
I never even thought about
absolutely.
that, bro. Until you mentioned it right now. That in itself is like,
Yeah,
wow, that's trippy, you know?
it's super trippy.
So
And
I'm
then if you want to take it a step further, it's funny because little history lessons. It's
uh,
called the Caribbean, right? But it's called the Caribbean because of the Caribe Indians.
right.
So the Caribe Indians were a very violent tribe of Indian. They were like what we would call the Apaches
Oh, okay.
here in America. So when the Spaniards came,
Oh,
they ended up killing 99% of them.
oh
And so
wow.
there are pretty much no more Caribe Indians. The Taino Indians, which are native to Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, were much more peaceful, kind of like the Hopi Indians here in the Americas. So they went along with the new masters a little easier, which is the only reason they're alive today.
Yeah.
So in Cuba, the genetic makeup is like it's very much black, white, and mulatto. Where in Puerto Rico, you still have like 30-40% of people still have up to 30-40% of that Indian blood still in them. But that doesn't exist in Cuba.
Oh, because they were
Interesting.
fighters, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
I did not know these little tidbits, like
yeah.
yeah.
My father's a history buff, so watching the History Channel growing up was always a thing.
Oh,
And plus whatever he knew that the History Channel didn't mention.
that's good, man. I didn't realize that until I got a little or older. My friend used to watch Discovery, History, and I was like, you fucking nerd. I used to tease him and shit, like, and come on, let's go hang out. He's like, no, I'm watching the formation of the sun on Discovery. I'm like, man, fuck out of here, dude. And want to hang out and stuff. Like he stay
Yeah,
home watching. But in hindsight, now I watch these things. Now I
I
enjoy them,
know.
but I couldn't appreciate it back then. And there's so much knowledge, and particularly with history, like you said, language. In Spanish we say ojalá. You ever
Mhm.
heard that saying, ojalá?
Yeah,
Ojalá.
ojalá pasa.
You know where that
Ojalá, like
comes from?
hopefully it happens. No, where?
Inshallah, Arabic.
Ah, well, that
The
makes sense because do you know how the guitar was made?
I do not.
The guitar was invented in Spain, but it has a lot of Arabic influence into it. So I forgot what they had. They had another thing, and then it mixed of those two things. So there was a time that there was a lot of like Arab rulers in Spain. So like
Yeah.
being Spanish, you have that influence as well genetically.
Yeah, and the language, ojalá. And I said, wait a minute. I was with my friend, he's Muslim, he was making a prayer, and then he says, inshallah. And I said, inshallah means God willing. And then I said, in Spanish, we say ojalá, which means si Dios quiere. I said, oh my God.
Yeah,
Like I was like, like I had no idea it came from that. And I started researching it, and I was like, wow. Like it's, dude, I should have hung out more with my Discovery Channel buddy back
buddy.
then. Like, I'd be so much
Yeah, but
smarter.
you were trying to hit the block, right?
Yeah, I wanted to be here. Let's go in front of the building. He's like, nah, man. But there's so much. But I'm catching up. I'm catching up on everything.
What's cool is that information is out there and it never goes away.
Yeah. And now we have so much access. We have
Yeah,
so much access. We can watch everything. Like our children are so much smarter than we were because they have so much more at their fingertips.
just right there.
Yeah, and
Electronics and like the phone, the tablet, that's like changed the game.
yeah, they know anything about everything. And they're just so. I mean, it's there for them, like immediately there for them. It's trippy. Like I'll be saying something to my son. He's like, "Pops, you're projecting." I'm like, "What?" I said, "What?" He's like, "Here, the thing is that right now you're feeling insecure about this, and because you're feeling insecure and you're angry, you're wrapping it up on this other thing, and you're putting that in my direction." And I'm like, "Bro, you're
Like, man,
right."
go to your room.
Yo, so I mean, it's dope because it makes me a better person, you know,
Obviously,
you
yeah,
know,
no, totally.
yeah, it makes me a better person. And, like I always let them know, listen, guys, I'm cutting, I'm kind of fat, I'm cutting carbs. I might be mean. And my son will say, Pops, eat a cookie. You know what I mean? Like, so we have it's a different dynamic than when we were growing up and stuff. Dude, like tell everyone about like your career and stuff. Like, well, that's the other thing, bro. I was looking through your Instagram and I was like, bro, I keep having these really good looking motherfuckers on my podcast.
Hell yeah.
Like all these really good looking dudes, and I'm like, I'm getting old and you know what I'm saying?
No,
Like
man,
everything's
nah.
changing, and I'm like, damn, man, I'm living vicariously through these handsome podcast guests.
I feel like age is just in your head, man. Honestly, the
Agreed.
older I get, the more I tell myself that, though.
Oh yeah, you have to. You
You
have to.
have to.
You know.
I mean, dude, I started honestly, my whole career, everything was one series of accidents after another. It was
I
like
keep hearing
it
that.
couldn't it couldn't have
Like,
been planned. Yeah, I know. It seems to be more of a common story than I would have ever thought, but or a common theme in people's stories that get into this type of work. Um, I was in school and I went with a buddy of mine, and he went to a casting, and then that's how I started modeling. And then from modeling, my agent was like, yo, you know, you have like personality, charisma, whatever, you got to get into acting. And then that's when it was the game changer, dude. I went to acting. They say you get bit by the acting bug. I went into acting class, and I was like, wow, this is actually what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. Like, hands down, I know it. Like, I know it in like my bones. And then I just like pretty much never looked back. And then, you know, as an actor, you pretty much book 2 or 3 things a year. You know, auditioning your backside off. You book 2 or 3 things a year in hopes that one of those two or three things.
things out of how many? Sorry to cut you off. Out of how many would you say?
So many. So many. It's funny that you say that. I carry around with me a big box of all of my auditions that I've ever done. And anytime I finish one, I put those sides in the box just to always remind myself
The work.
like, yes, the work. You know, like don't ever take these successes for granted. Like, yo, you put in that work. You know, right? You should, you know, sometimes you almost have like imposter syndrome on yourself. I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh no, 100%, brother. 100, like all
Yeah.
day, every day, man. Like, you know, you be like with this beautiful woman and you're like, yeah, 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 you know what I'm saying? and you're like, is this real? You know, like,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, I feel you. I feel you.
I mean, like right now, for example, right? My friend put me into her movie. It was about 2 or 3 years ago, and we did it. And I got a good part, and I know her for a few years. And then 3 years later, the film gets into Cannes.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And now I'm going to Cannes, like as a supporting actor in a movie that's like really in there, and it's just like, what the hell? You know what I mean?
So can you give
And
me perspective on Cannes when you say that? So like I know it's a film festival, like I know they're, you know, but can you tell me what that means exactly? Because I'm like
dude,
I don't I
it's a
never
huge
dug it.
deal. Yeah, no, it's a huge deal. So there are a few really big film festivals like worldwide. So you have TIFF, you have South by Southwest, you have the Tribeca Film Festival, and then you have Cannes. Cannes is probably the most prestigious one worldwide. It's definitely the hardest one to get into, and it also has arguably the most press around it.
Gotcha.
It's in the south of France in Nice.
Oh, cool.
And it started, I think, yesterday. Wait, today Monday? It started today, Monday.
Yes.
And it goes on for, I believe, like 2 weeks. And there's a couple different parts of it. There's a part where like films are in competition, and then there's other shorts that get screened. And then, for instance, our film is technically in the director's fortnight. So there's no competition there. There is a prize to be won by one of the films in the director's fortnight, but it's not like they're versing and competing for like a 1, 2, and 3 spot like that, if that makes sense.
Okay. Oh, see, learn something else. Because I've always heard about the festivals, and you know, my friends have been in like some smaller ones, but I never understood, or not that I didn't understand, I just never sought out the information. You know, I was just like, cool,
Yeah.
it's a film festival. Okay. You know, like I didn't really know the depth of it. Like, okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
no, but it's a big deal. It's a big deal. I mean, bro, thousands and thousands and thousands of films get submitted, and like 12 get picked.
Wow. Okay.
It's like that.
That explains the magnitude of it. Yeah.
Yeah, the magnitude of it. And like, all these people are putting their life and soul into these movies.
Yeah. Well,
Just like an actor puts his whole heart into an audition, right? But a movie is a much greater, harder, tedious piece of work. Expensive.
yeah. Yeah. I
You know what I'm
imagine
saying?
that
Like,
that factors into it, you know?
oh, absolutely.
What was the film
Absolutely.
about that you guys did?
So, I'm not really supposed to like say too
No,
much about it, but
don't get
I could
yourself in
give you a little
trouble.
tidbit. I could get you a little tidbit. It's essentially about a girl who has a disease where she doesn't have like short-term memory. And so she A-tracks, like the cassette tapes from back in
Yeah,
the day,
yeah.
records what she did the day before and like important events. And then she gets caught up and has to escape town with her daughter. That's the gist of it.
Okay.
Without getting myself in trouble, there's obviously a lot
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Zip. You'd be like,
Yeah.
what's that dude, the Avengers guy that's always like Ruffalo, right? Fucking Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo, yeah.
He's always dropping like huge spoilers. And
Yes.
they're like, am I in trouble? He's like, a little bit, like just let it go. Cause there was one scene he said, man, wait till you see this next movie, everyone dies. And the dude next to him goes, dude. And he's like, oh, am I in trouble?
Yeah.
Am I in trouble? And the guy goes, a little bit. Like he did it so many times. It's hilarious. I almost wondered if it's staged.
Sometimes, right?
Yeah, I do wonder if it's staged because it's like a pretty big plot he gave. But I can't imagine he was supposed to say that. I mean, even if it was
I can't imagine
staged,
either.
yeah, I mean, stage saying everybody dies, that's kind of like a big spoiler. I don't
It
think,
is.
I think he genuinely probably jacked that one up.
I got excited and stuff in the moment,
They
right?
don't let him do press anymore because he always drops. That's so funny, man. That guy's a funny dude, man.
He is a
Yeah,
funny dude, though.
so that's what the film's about, and it's starting today in France, you said, right?
Yeah, our premiere is the 22nd. That's our world premiere. So that's the thing. Since when you go into these festivals, these are movies that haven't been technically screened. So like the first time they're being shown is there. That's why it's all the anti-spoiler
Yeah.
and all this stuff is going on like around it.
Okay, and what happens after? So like you have this film, it's featured there. Like, does it go to Netflix? Does it go to YouTube? Do you got like what
No,
do you?
then it essentially has to get picked. It has to get picked up by a distributor, who then will distribute it. But I mean, it's looking real good. I mean, Ryan and Ariella, which are the creators, Ariella's the lead, Ryan's the director. Ryan wrote it, and they already got picked up by UTA, so that's a huge deal. All off of this movie. So now UTA is technically like kind of backing the film. It's one of the biggest agencies, ever. It has its sales agent. So I mean, it's looking really good. It's looking like almost the sky's the limit, with this one.
Oh, that's cool. That's an
Super cool.
interesting process, like how these things work. Like, is that how it goes with films? Like somebody makes a film and then they screen it or they put it at a festival and
That's one way to do it. That's one way to do it. That's probably the best way to do it if you could do it that way. Because what you do is you create a lot of hype. Well, then there's people who put like celebrities and stars into their films, and then those celebrities kind of are bringing the hype. They're bringing the finance guys to invest in it. The distributors are now interested in it. So there's like a lot of different ways to go about it. But yeah, if you're starting with no known stars, very little budget, and trying to essentially throw a Hail Mary, then festivals are definitely a huge, probably the best way to that. And I mean, just to give you the chances of Ryan and Ariel doing what they did and with this film, it's probably like a 1 in a million. It's definitely a once in a lifetime.
Wow.
Like this doesn't
That's
happen.
awesome,
They
man.
could almost make a story about how we got there. Like, you know what I mean?
Wow. Okay. Wow. I wish y'all a lot of luck with that.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
I'd like to watch it on Netflix or Max or something, just
I'm sure eventually everything ends up on the streaming service nowadays, one way or another. That's just where all the eyes are, People aren't really going to the movie theaters anymore.
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while, if it's like a big film, like for instance, when Deadpool comes out, Deadpool 3,
Okay, yeah.
we'll see that in the theater,
Yeah.
Probably the new Planet of the Apes film, but it's got to be something huge like that that's really cinematic and you want to see it on the big screen.
You want to hear the noises from behind you, like
right.
Yeah.
It's got to be those very huge films these days. Not very often that I'll go to the theater nowadays. Like, most you want to watch it at home. But financially, I wonder if it hurts you guys. the
I
streaming
mean,
side.
the whole thing is changing.
Mm,
Everything is changing. But yeah, there's definitely less money because of streams. I mean, even music artists, you know, they could be the
for
number one
sure.
stream artist in the world and it doesn't equate to actual dollars, you know?
Right. Yeah. So is it this
So I
is
feel,
does it fall in the same boat with film as well?
yeah.
Like, mm, yeah. I mean the world's everything's so different, right? Like everything is different. We were talking in a previous episode I was recording about like how do you get the Brad Pitts and Denzel Washingtons and Morgan Freemans? Like doesn't happen really anymore, you know? Like you don't get those type of superstars in film. You know, they exist, but it's just not the same, you know.
Well, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that there's just more film being made than ever before. You know, back when they were coming up, it was a much. I feel like it was a more narrow scope of total work coming out.
Right.
So you know, if you're one of the guys in one of the 20 movies that come out, you're one in 20. But now that 200 movies come out, you'd be one in 200.
There. Yeah, that's a
So
good
then
point.
that focus, that general population focus, is wider. So it's not so specific on these same players over and over.
Yeah,
If
that's a
that makes
good point.
sense.
I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, it does make sense. And that also ties back to streaming because now there's so much stuff. Plus, guess what? You want to see something from another country? It's there too. You know, a lot of the
There's
films I'm
more
seeing.
there's
Yeah.
more TV and film produced in a 24-hour day than 24 hours. So they're producing in total more than 24 hours of production a day, which means that it's officially you won't be able to see everything in your whole lifetime that's been made.
Well,
It's kind of like the New York and the eating out fact. Have you ever heard that one?
I have not. No.
So you could from the time you can actually eat food, like you're not eating compota or like things like that, you're eating solid food. Um, you can eat at a different restaurant for breakfast, lunch, and dinner until the day you die, and you will not eat in all the restaurants of New York City. Number
Wow.
one, because there's a lot, but number two is because they closed down and reopened.
Right.
So you just won't be able to eat them. Like, yeah, that was this one last year, but now it's a different one. So now it counts as a new one, right? So
Yeah,
you actually
yeah.
can't eat in all the restaurants in New York City in a lifetime.
Wow.
You actually can't watch all the film that's produced in the world in a lifetime either.
Isn't that crazy when you think about
It's
it? Like,
trippy. It's trippy.
like that is like it's overwhelming, dude. Is I'm like you're
Completely.
saying this and I'm actually processing. It's like my brain wants to go because it's like I'm trying to calculate how can it be done two at a time, three at a time, and watching them at the same my
It
brain is
can't.
just going into overload trying to solve that problem, like,
Dude, last time when I first learned about this, it was like years ago, and I think they were producing like for every 24 hours, they were like at 48 or 56 hours. I can't even imagine what it is now.
right. Right. And now we even, like I said, you have access to stuff from other countries. Like we have a ton of Korean films showing up, a ton of Japanese films, Spain films, films from all over, not to mention our local stuff. It's crazy.
And some of those are fucking amazing, right?
Agreed. Yeah, they are great. I've watched so many of them. Like, I used to watch them when I was younger. Even before it was available on Netflix. I used to download them. Uh, well, through legal means. Back in the old days, I used to acquire them from paid websites that I got a subscription from back in the days. You know, and I'd watch all those foreign films, but now they're there. And they're good. They're good films. There's a lot of good stuff out there. It's just amazing the amount of content we have access to.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to find the fact, but I can't find it really quick
Oh,
on my
good.
phone. I think it's just saying that there's over 500,000 feature-length films as of 2023.
500,000. Well, if you
It's
do
not
the
giving me.
math
It's
on
not giving
that,
me the fact that I'm looking for, but whatever.
uh,
Probably have to play with it.
yeah, it's not surprising. I mean, if you think about it, 2 hours of film, right? 3 hours, and you break that down, and then you count it by how many people worldwide are making stuff.
Mhm.
It would make sense that we could easily surpass that, you know. And the same
Did
thing
you?
with music.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah. I know. I was gonna ask you. Speaking of like worldwide hits and stuff, did you? Do you have any like international TV shows or films that you liked specifically a lot?
Well, there's one called Physical 100. I don't know if you've seen that. It's
I haven't
Korean.
seen that.
It's a Korean, and it's a competition of,
Oh,
you
okay.
know, the best bodies. They try to determine which is the best, most functional body based on a series of quests and
Tests.
competitions that
Quest.
they do. And you know, it's not who you expect to win that wins every time. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Like you got these
Totally.
massive freaking monsters. And I mean, at the power things, they're amazing. But then when there's things that require agility, speed, or a combination thereof, they always run into trouble. So always the guys who've ended up winning are like CrossFitters or just people who have a balance of strength, size, power, and agility and
Yeah.
stuff. That's a great show. You should check it out. You'll
Hell yeah.
binge through it. There's 2 seasons. It's called Physical 100. You know, it's
I've been doing CrossFit for like 5 years, so I love all that type of stuff.
oh, then you will appreciate this show. It's insane. Like my wife and I just every new season we sit and we just watch straight through. So right now you'll have all the episodes because they don't give you all the episodes when it comes out.
Yeah, yeah.
They make you wait a week. Right now you have 2 seasons worth, and it's really good. That's one.
Did you see Squid Game?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
That was a
That's
good one,
another
right?
one. Yeah, yeah. That
That was
thing
a good
was
one.
trippy. Yeah,
Super trippy.
that was a crazy one. They made a game
Did you?
show out of that too.
They did, yeah.
I didn't watch it. Did I watch it? I don't remember. I may have. I don't remember. But the real film was good. The series was dope. Yeah.
Trippy. I love those type of like thriller, mind like mind fuck shows, that really make you be like,
Yeah,
no,
even if you
like
win, it's like now the winner has to do this and they're screwed. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Did you see I'm just thinking about international shows
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
really liked. Did you see Money Heist? That's from Spain.
Oh yeah. Professor.
Good one too, right?
Yes, we love that one too. Me and we started Berlin too. We're watching Berlin.
I was gonna say
And
they have it going on in different countries, right?
yeah, it's a spin-off, like with just
It's like,
him.
yeah,
Same, more or less the same,
I'm sure.
same story.
I
But
haven't seen I haven't seen any of the other ones.
yeah, Berlin's pretty good. Like I'm enjoying that and stuff. Yeah, that show was really good. It had a lot of twists and but those are perfect examples of shows from other countries. We would have never had
That's what
access
I'm
to
saying.
that. We would
Yeah.
never have seen it before. So it's like, yes, give me all this amazing work, it was the same thing. I always watched anime, they're from other countries. I watch them in Japanese. I prefer to hear it, with the original
Hmm.
language and just read the
Really? Do you know
subtitles.
Japanese? Oh, you read the
Oh no,
subtitles.
no, I
I see.
can't understand it, but I can
I was
understand
like,
some
what?
words, some words I could navigate, I could flirt with a girl, you know what I mean? Like, you know, no, kire this, like I could flirt with one and I have a decent array of sexual comments to make during relations, but that's not gonna happen this lifetime, you know. I have I
You're
have a few
funny,
good
man.
words, man, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
My wife is Chinese and I wanted to learn, but Chinese is well, in her case, it would be either Mandarin or Cantonese, and it's way harder than Japanese. Like I could
Is it
learn
really?
Japanese. Yeah, because in Japanese, for instance, if you want to say I don't know, how are you? You say genki desu. or I'm good. Genki des. It's like Spanish. To me, the words read exactly like Spanish. Genki des. Genki des. So I'm good. Genki desu ka? How are you? You know, it's just flows. But
Mhm.
Chinese or any dialect of Chinese, um, if I say, you know, ni hao ma or ni hao ma or ni hao ma, the tones mean different things. So
Ah,
there's not just ni hao or whatever word you're saying, there's also the tone you use, and there's like 4 tones that could be used for words. It makes it way more difficult. And I'm like,
but kind of cool to if you know how to do it. It's kind of cool because it's more expressive as well,
yeah, I would,
right?
and it means entirely different things. Completely, you know, I mean, like what I said something to someone where I thought I was saying, you know, hi, you're pretty, and they said, no, you said hi, eat my kidneys, because of the because of the tone, you know, like the tone. I can't remember what the phrase was, but that was the ridiculousness of the difference of
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I said and what it meant. Like, you know, eat my kidneys, and they're laughing, and I'm like, what's so funny? He's like, dude, you just told her to eat your kidneys, bro. So I was like, word. So
Damn.
it's the tone. So I wish I
Took
could
the
learn
L
it.
real quick. Just walked away.
Yeah, I was like, all right, you know, we're not doing that. But you know,
We're
like,
not doing that.
you know, I tried, and I know some words and some things, but I think it's too difficult. I could learn Japanese, but then, you know, well, my wife is like, well, why are you learning Japanese? You know, why don't you learn Chinese? I'm like, okay, babe. You know, like I don't want to get myself in trouble. So I've
No, definitely
abandoned
not.
my language researches. You know.
I speak English, Spanish, and I was a lot better with my Portuguese, but I haven't done it in a few years. I can understand it, but my accent is all not nice anymore. It used to be real good.
Well, yeah,
But you know, sometimes you don't practice these things for a while, you start to lose them.
yeah, yeah. It's everything's like that. I was much better at Japanese than I am now. You know what I mean? Like, you
Hmm.
know, I was way better at it. You ever did your genealogy?
I did,
Like,
yeah. It's
what's your
crazy.
breakdown?
So
I mean, if you're
I'm like,
comfortable sharing, I just
yeah,
take for granted.
I'm like 70% European. I'm like 25% African, and then I'm like 5% native Indian, something like
Okay,
that.
okay. So 75% in different pieces, or one
No,
actually?
no, it's like mostly from Spain and the Canary Islands, and then it's also from like France, Italy, a little bit Eastern European. Um, so I did 23andMe. Have you ever done
Yeah,
it?
I did the ancestry one, and my highest number was indigenous. Indigenous Puerto
Really?
Rican, 27%. Um, then the next two were Portuguese and Spaniard. So it was like 22% and maybe 20%, but combined, they're greater than the 27, the two European ones.
Ah,
Therefore, you know, I look blanquito like you. You know, I look more
yeah.
blanquito, you know. And then the rest would be like smaller African parts, and um, you know, so
Hmm.
yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't get blessed with neither the Italian or the African part where it matters. You know, unfortunately, I got a lot of the Spaniard on that shit. I'm like, fuck, you know, that shit skipped me, you know. But hey, it is what it is. I can't do nothing about that, man. You know, I don't know if it's the Portuguese or the Spaniards, but one of those motherfuckers fucked me, bro. Because as far
Yo,
as they made me average when I was like, I could have been great.
could have been a contender.
You know, I could have been great. You know, they didn't give me the height. They didn't give me none of that, man. Like even the salsa genes skipped me, man. Like I teach Zumba and I can dance
Uh-huh.
and I can do movements and stuff.
Oh
But like you
wow,
take me
really?
to, if you take me to a club and tell me to dance, then I'm a wallflower. You know, I get
Really?
timid. Yeah, because I mean the Zumba shit I practice. I create the choreography, I practice it, and I really dial it and hone it in. But like just freestyle dancing and just like getting it in and stuff, then unless I'm drunk, then it's on to the break of dawn. But if I'm sober, then I'm on the wall, like just, you know, like yeah, plus I'm married, man, like
Alcohol helps, right?
it definitely does. And I'm also like highly aware, like, I went to an event recently and they were dancing, and I'm like, oh, because I'm like, I don't want people talking shit. Like these are my students in the Zumba class. And I was like,
Hmm.
I tend to get a little carried away. So I was like, I don't want to start dancing with these ladies and get a little froggy. And next thing you know, I'm in trouble. You know what I mean? Like, you know, um,
You got to be careful.
yeah, like,
Definitely.
plus some of them like me. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, I gotta be real careful. And they're like, venga a bailar, papi, papá, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna sit here, I don't wanna get in trouble with the lady. I don't want to go to the gym. And then they're like, Angel, we heard that you were bumping and grinding with so and so. You know what I mean? Like, HR me or something. So, I'm just super careful now. Like, the world's a dangerous place.
I mean, yeah, you got to definitely be careful
Dude, what what
because
um what stuff have you been on aside from that film? Like, what are you working on anything presently, or
I am. Yeah, bro, I'm trying to get my 23andMe here.
bring
I
that up?
I'm trying to bring it up.
There's an app you could I would imagine they have an app, right? You could put on
They do. I
your
just haven't signed in so long. They're like resetting me and everything. Okay,
got you,
look. So
got you.
my official thing is like this. I am. This thing is loading. Okay. Yeah. So look. Okay, I wasn't that off. I'm 72.8% European. Yep. So
Wow.
I got everything. I got French, German, British, Irish, Northwest. I'm like 1% Ash Ashenka Ashkenazi Jewish. Then
Yeah, I
I
got that one
am
too. Yeah.
then I am 21% African, and then I'm like 4.5% Indigenous American, which would be probably Taino Indian.
Right, because the Caribe guys are, they've been
That's probably where I
so
got the African from because, like I told you, Cuba is
yeah,
is
heavy African
heavy
roots and
African. It's either
ancestry, right?
African or Spain. Yeah, there's not a lot of native Indian left.
Hmm. Wow.
Oh, so
Yeah.
what am I working on? Dude, obviously there's constantly trying to get into new projects, but I'm personally working on my own two projects. I've always loved crime drama, like gangster shows, gangster movies. So I'm writing two of them. I've written two of them, and we're trying to get them produced now, and got a really cool group of people working with me. I'll give you the rundown. One of them is a romance, kind of like Bronx Tale meets Carlito's Way meets like Casablanca ish, right?
Mhm.
And then the other, and that's a feature. And then I have a series that I'm working on where it's based in the 80s in Manhattan. Um, and it's about the reorganization. I don't know. I mean, you probably maybe were around that time, but there was a big reorganization of like where there was a lot of gangs back then. And then
Mm.
there was that kind of an organization of it. So that one's actually based on a true story. And it's
Okay.
kind of how all of the cultures started kind of working together, but like more organized. Like it wasn't so many different gangs. It was more like there was leadership and organization. So it's about that, with the Italians, the Hispanics, the African Americans, like Brooklyn, Uptown, Queens, even parts of Jersey. Everything changed in around that time.
Mm.
So it's about that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean,
Cool.
also in Cannes, there's a gala for AMFAR, uh, which is like an AIDS research organization, and so I got to be in their series of commercials that they have. That's also premiering at Cannes. So that'll be really cool. And yeah, just plugging away at these films, man. There's so much work that goes into it. It's unreal.
Mm. Yeah, I've never done anything like that. I've been involved with some of my friends' stuff. So
Mhm.
I can't relate in terms of the work, but I imagine there's a lot going into it. I mean, stuff that I don't even know about, you know. Um,
So
it's
much goes into it. They say, you know, and it's true. Right? It takes a village. You know, it takes like a little village of people to make a movie or a TV
yeah,
show. You know, unfortunately, it's not something that you could lay a lot of the groundwork, but you're never going to be able to do it alone. You know,
yeah, I imagine so. And I guess also you mentioned budget, right? Money comes into it. You need money to
money comes
produce it
into
and
it.
pay because you have to pay everybody, right? It's a job, right? You're kind of like hiring them to perform XYZ roles and I imagine that's I mean, because like the ones I was involved in, we're just friends, right? So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Like you know what I mean? Like, he's like, yeah, we're just gonna cut your head off and you do I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? Like, I got decapitated. Like that was my thing. I was a cop, my gun jammed, and I got decapitated. So, you know, I was like, I didn't get paid for it. I was just doing it as a favor for my friend and stuff. But I would imagine like the people who are doing the heavy work require payment, right?
Of course, you know, you have your DP, your director of photography. You have sometimes the actors will work for like less, hoping that something happens with it.
Mhm.
But a lot of the other people kind of need to get paid, and especially, you know, especially if you want people that are like good at what they
Yeah,
do,
you have to hire them,
because
right?
you gotta hire them.
Hey, listen, man, people gotta eat, right? You know what I mean? You gotta eat. It's like, hey, listen,
Yeah,
man, I know you work and stuff, but you want to just hang out and record some stuff for me? Like, no, that's not gonna happen, dude. I gotta eat. I get that. Damn, there was something that jumped in my mind and now it escaped me. That happens occasionally. Like I had a thought pop in my head and it just escaped my head. Oh well, say la vie. I've accepted that
it'll
these
come back.
moments happen. They happen more and more
If it's
frequently.
important, it'll come back.
Yeah,
That's what I
yeah.
always tell myself.
I try to jot them down every time I get like an idea. I just jot it down because I know I'm gonna forget. If I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, whoa, I jot them down.
Hmm.
Like my wife came out. She's like, honey, what are you doing? I said, I had this idea. I have to put it down in writing. Otherwise, I'll lose it. Like, you know.
You know, I'm the same way. I've been trying to like be more conscious of my dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And if I start writing, I forget. So what I do is I just voice note it.
Oh,
I click the thing and I just talk, because if I start writing, like I forget the ending by the time I'm in the middle.
yeah,
I
the
don't know if that happens
details.
to you ever.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
like dreams for me, like I remember it for a little while. I don't remember it for a long time.
yeah, yeah. They go quick.
We,
So you have to jump on it quick. I'll usually like if it involves somebody, I'll text them like, hey, I just had a dream that we were trying to have sex. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Or whatever it is, like, hey, listen, you just murdered me. You know what I mean? Like whatever
yeah.
it's a weird dream because I be having some crazy dreams. And also they got me on like psychiatric medication, Lexapro for anxiety and stuff. And that stuff
Uh-huh.
also gives you like weird
Vivid dreams, right?
some weird stuff, like yeah, I be having some crazy ass dreams, man. So I just jot them down, or if it involves someone, I tell them, yeah, your husband was mad at me. Why is he mad at you? Oh, we were kind of on your bed cuddling or whatever this ridiculous dream is. She's like, damn, dude, like, what's up with you? I'm like, I don't know. This is
What's up with you?
I don't know where this is coming from. It's my subconscious trying to tell me something. And I figured it just wanted me to tell you hi. So I'm telling you hi. Not trying to fuck you. I'm just telling you hi. Like it's weird like that, man. You know? Damn, there was something you said. Now it's bugging me. You know what I mean? Now it's bugging the hell out of me. You said something about you said a commercial. You said, oh, the films. Yes, yes. You said the two films. Okay, I got it. I knew it would come back to me. I was trying to
Okay.
retrace. So the the gangs in the 80s, I do remember them, right? Because I lived in a building where they would have a meeting behind. So you would see like dozens and dozens and dozens. I don't want to say any of the names because I don't want no beef with these cats. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they were like they were, I mean, like a small army of guys that would come into the basement of the building where, well, not the basement, like the backyard, and they would have
Hmm.
their meetings there. And I would stay home when that happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I would stay inside. You just see when like kids get out of school and they're all filing out, like you see, like I don't know
Yeah.
if it's hundreds, but it's a lot of people filling up like 2 blocks worth. And these people would all cram in there. And I I was like, okay, we're not going to the store now. Like, we're just gonna stay home. I
That's
knew
what I'm
some of
saying.
them, but
It was a crazy
organized.
time. It
And
was
it
a
was
very crazy.
organized.
That's when it got organized. So
Yeah.
actually, the that's why I really want to do the show, and it's based. The central character is based on a real person.
Mm.
Um, so it's I don't know. It's a cool. It's that's probably like the project that has most of my like energy
Passion.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because like it's cool when you could use real facts and real situations and then they kind of make a story out of it that maybe not exactly what happened but what could have happened, what might have happened. You know what I mean? Almost like Boardwalk Empire,
Yeah.
right?
That was a good
Boardwalk
show. I
Empire,
enjoyed
it's
that
it's a
show. Yeah.
story. You did, but do you know like all those characters that were in it were all real people, right?
Yeah, I recognize
Meyer
the
Lansky
names.
was a real guy. uh yeah, all of the gangsters in the different roles were like real people, but they brought it together to tell like kind of a different story, which is cool.
Yeah.
Lucky Luciano, that was a real guy.
Yeah, I
Al
recognize a lot of
Capone, that
those
was a real
names.
guy. Yeah.
So you would
So
would you be talking about, like, in your film, are you talking, I really don't want to say names because I don't want, like I said, I live in New York, bro, and like I don't want to get stabbed or shot but you're talking about like the gangs that we would have bumped into in the Bronx or whatever, or is it more like bicycle gangs? Like which era
no,
are you
no, I'm talking
covering?
about the real gangs, the Latin Kings, the Nietas,
Okay, okay,
like the real ones.
yeah, okay,
That's where the story's cool,
right.
right? Because
Where do you live?
yeah, I'm in Los Angeles.
Okay, well, just don't do anything disparaging, bro.
No,
You know,
absolutely not.
you don't want to get on their bad list. You know what I'm saying? They still
No, definitely
around,
not.
man. Like,
You're like,
that's
where do you live?
yeah. Oh, well, I'm asking for your safety. That's why. Like,
Obviously,
if you tell me I'm in Montana, I'm like, all right, you're good. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
they ain't gonna come out to the sticks where everybody's got guns. But you in New York, you in LA,
No,
you got
man,
to
it's
thread.
it's it's not even about anything that's incriminating to anyone who worked, right? Because that's where the fiction comes
Right,
comes
right.
through, right? It's still a TV show. It's just there's a lot of real events that things are based off of, not necessarily meaning this is exactly how it happened.
Yeah. So I was a kid in the 80s, a teenager in the 90s, and the 80s to the 90s, that's where, in my neighborhood, we had kings and nietas. The guys who had the meetings were nietas, and I knew a couple of those. In fact, one of those guys, I was very close to joining Latin Kings. Um, and one of the guys that had a chapter, like, slapped the shit out of me. He slapped the shit out of me, and he was like, "No, you're not joining us. You go to school and you get the fuck out of here." Like, um,
Kind of saved your life.
exactly, man. In hindsight, he probably uh kept me from going because it was already starting, and we jumped the kid, like he beat up one of the Latin Kings' little brothers, and we were friends, and he was like, "Yo, we're gonna go up to, we're going to I'm not gonna say the address because those guys still live there. You know what I mean? I can't even walk through that neighborhood, man. I still see them, you know. So he said, we're gonna go to such and such place, and we're gonna catch this kid. And we went and we beat the crap out of him. And I came back and I told the chapter leader, I was like, yo, we did this, blah, blah, blah. We banged this kid up, and he's like, word? He's like, yeah, man, you proud of me? You feel, you know, he's like, I'm feeling good, man. I'm helping you guys out. And just,
Bacata.
he just grabbed me, you know, grabbed me up against the wall. And I was like, you know, like I was shocked. I thought he was gonna give me props. And he's like, you don't hang out with those guys anymore. If I ever find out, bro, just I was like, holy shit, man. Like, what the fuck, man? I thought you was gonna be like, yo, you help my boys. He's like, no, we're here for that. Why are you there? What are you doing? You're just a kid that goes to school. You go to school in that area, bro. They're gonna kill you. Like, what are you doing? You know, like, so yeah, man, he probably saved my life, man. And he passed away. You know, he's not here anymore. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's a rough life, you know. So yeah, I'd love to see that if you make it, man. Like,
100%.
I would love to see that.
The way I know more about that whole time period is more through older people, like in my family and stuff.
Yeah.
Not really through my own personal.
Right, right. Yeah, because you were
I'm
probably
too young for that, but I'm still fascinated by that whole period.
Yeah.
Because that's when the most changes ever that came through. That's when things got organized. That's when, you know, that's when it all happened.
Did they include Giuliani like with their stories to you and how he factored into that whole period?
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
You want to hear a crazy story? I went to school with his son.
Word?
For a year. Yeah, I went to an all-boys school. I was always into sports. So I went to an all-boys school for like wrestling and football and stuff. So he was there.
Cool.
In New Jersey. I grew up mostly in New Jersey. I don't know if you know West New York.
I don't know anything about Jersey other than like Newark where my pops lived. You know, I had to fly him out.
City, you know, like Union City or like West New York or like Fort Lee, North Bergen.
Yes, actually, some of those names do ring a bell. Yes.
Yeah.
I had a friend that lived
that's
out
where
there.
I grew up.
Okay. Yeah, it's a nice area now. I know Fort Lee, he had a nice place there when I went. I was like, holy shit, like this is a nice, he had a really nice place. So,
those are all the towns and those are all the little cities between the bridge and the tunnel, just on the other side of the river.
yes, yeah.
Those Union City, West New York, North Bergen, and Fort Lee. I think there's like one more.
Yeah, I have been to Fort Lee. I remember that vividly because I remember the house, the apartment rather. It was like super fly. Like I was like, damn, bro, this guy
Super nice.
Yeah, he's got
they
a
have
nice
some really
crib.
nice. Yeah, they have nice cribs up there.
Yeah, yeah. So Giuliani, like, he kind of sent everything underground in the 90s. Like you didn't see it anymore. So like I used to always see when I would go downstairs, you know, you have everybody with their beads on, you know, their colors, the flags, you know, like, and they were always around. And you know, the Nietas and the Kings were cool, you know, so you see them kind of kicking it and stuff. They were like cousins, you know what I mean? Like they would be considered cousins in the structure. And then Giuliani started changing everything, and everybody kind of went into hiding. You didn't see the colors anymore, you know.
Well, he cracked down on organized crime in the biggest way, right?
Yeah.
Rico.
Yeah, you didn't see it anymore. You didn't. They were still there. I still saw the guys, but the colors weren't.
They're still there today.
Yeah, I saw Nieta when I went to see my mom for Mother's Day. One of the older guys, like from back then, like, you know, he's always been cool with me, you know, he's super cool with me, always nice to me. And I saw him, he said, venite a ver la viejita, you know, like, sí, man, ¿cómo está? Whatever, estamos viejos. He's like, yeah, you know, but he's still kind of just chilling out there, just doing his thing, you know. And my son was like, you know, those guys pops, because, you know, you know, he mostly knows me as this heavier, old, goofy guy, you know what I mean? Like, you know, he doesn't know all that other stuff. He's like, yo, Pops, dude. He was like, oh, Pops, I gotta be honest with you, I was kind of scared. Like, you know, when he got up and started walking to you, and those other guys were walking to you, he was like, I was kind of like, I got scared. And I'm like, nah, those are, you know, homies from the old days, you know. He's like, you
Back
know
in
those
the
guys?
day.
I was like, yeah, I know them well, and they look out for my mom. So it's like that, man. He doesn't know though. You know what I'm saying? He didn't grow up in the hood, so he doesn't have thankfully,
Yeah.
because that's what we want, right? We want to give better for our kids.
Always
So
trying to push it up and forward.
yeah, I say every generation we should improve. So I
Mhm.
uh I didn't want him to grow up in that environment. I didn't, I would like him to learn wrestling or boxing or jujitsu just to be able to defend himself, but I didn't want him to have to go through that being tough shit, you know.
I heard they're taking wrestling out of school now,
Oh yeah,
or they
for
took
what?
it out.
Is there a reason or like
I think it's
politically
just like too
correct or
violent. Yeah, something. I don't know.
come on? It's such a great skill to have. It's such a great tool. I mean, I don't like the whole dehydration shit they do for fights and the
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
I think
Cutting weight.
that's a bit much and it could be a little extreme, but it really helps with discipline. It makes these kids tough, like strong.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you. I feel like discovering wrestling and getting good at it or whatever is like totally a part of like what shaped my like mental fortitude.
I bet.
And I'd be doing things like like fast for 7 days. I do that as an adult now, or
Mm,
like just being sober and I don't know, just it it changes. It makes you realize that you could literally do anything that you did. Like if you decide it, like you could do it. You know.
yeah, yeah. Did you get any injuries or anything in wrestling, or you came out unscathed?
I dislocated one time freshman year. I dislocated my elbow on a
And you
hip
got it,
toss.
you got it fixed, like you're good.
I just popped it back in, and yeah, I'm good.
Nice, nice.
Rock, rocking. It's not nothing that ever like. It's not weak. It doesn't click. It's like it literally healed perfect. Like if it never even happened.
Good, good. Yeah, that's the one fear I had, like with jujitsu, like I have like herniated discs on my neck, and I mean it's like life altering, I'm in pain.
I popped something doing deadlifts as an adult, like literally like 2 years ago, and that was the worst. I ended up losing like 30% of the muscle on my right leg,
Oh,
but I did all my own PT. So I did all my own like physical therapy, and yeah, I'm good now. Like,
wow.
but it was bad. I couldn't bend my back for anything. I had to sleep on my back with a pillow under my knees. It was like the
Wow.
lower ones. It was like L3, L6 or something like
Mhm.
this. That was the worst pain probably ever. And that happened to me from doing deadlifts, which I'll never do again. And I was like, why haven't I been doing deadlifts? Oh, because I almost got hurt one time and I told myself never to. It's like every few years, I
Yeah,
forget
remind
that I told
yourself.
myself not to do deadlifts. Yeah.
Yeah, just think about that time when you were with your legs elevated, I hurt my
Yeah.
lower back with the same thing. My friend was like, come on, let's discover your one rep max. And back in the days, it was like 400 something, right? I was really strong with that shit. So I said, well, if I could do 400 something, 500 pounds when I was younger, I should be able to do 200 pounds cold. And I
Hmm.
just put that on and I didn't realize how much strength I'd lost in
Oh,
the
yeah.
decades. You know what I mean? And I tried to start with like 225, which I was like, this is baby weight. Let's go. And I pulled it and I was like, I was like, oh shit. And since then, my lower back's been jacked,
Well,
you know.
deadlift is just one of those exercises that really aren't the best for us. But there's more injuries on that exercise than anything else. But you want to hear something interesting?
Mm.
So at around 20, 21 years old, the man has the most hormones he'll have, right? You're pretty much going downhill from then. But your muscles don't mature till you're 50,
50.
50. So when they say like old man strength, this and this, that, like
Oh,
those things that I'm sure you've heard, 50 is when your muscles are the most mature they ever are. So that's when they're actually grown, 50.
man, you're full of tidbits, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Your pops
So your
got you ready for
hormones
any
are low.
podcast.
I know, right? No, so your hormones are low, but your actual body is, that's when you're, And it's not only with that, you know, like, so your chakras,
Oh,
it's at 49 that they finish developing.
oh, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's super interesting.
Yeah, but well, I'm injecting testosterone, and my testosterone was low, so I've been putting
Hmm.
testosterone in, but because of the injuries, particularly the neck, it really limits me. Like, I can't do so many things, and I'm like, I got these hormones in my body that if I could lift, bro, I'd be like a house right now. I'd be just like, yeah, and every time I lift, I'm like, oh, this thing is like, they're like,
On your
oh,
neck?
yeah, they're pressing on some nerves, really
Yeah,
like
yeah,
like
no.
my fingers like this. I wake up sometimes like this. I'm like just like straining it out, like it's crazy, and I don't want to do surgery. That's why I bartered my computer for 20 sessions,
Yeah.
with my
I mean,
physical
a
therapist.
lot of it is stretching.
Mm,
It's literally being obsessed with stretching, because you need to make space. That's what's
right.
going on, right? You need to make space there,
Mm,
and like there's no space. So every time it gets constricted, that's the pain. Like when it gets swollen, but then lifting weights makes you swollen. That's how
mm,
you grow. You tear something up, they, the things go there, they rebuild it a little bigger than before. Fortunately, your neck
tight.
is you're using it in everything,
Yeah, yeah.
whether you
That's the
realize it or
problem.
not.
Yeah, I realize it now, brother. Like like I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna do biceps. Fuck,
Yeah,
all right, I'm just gonna do
exactly.
triceps. Oh, like every movement, it's involved in everything. So I have to be like so like, neck tucked in, everything, shoulders. I have to pull them down, make sure they stay down, engage like all these extra steps, and it's bizarre, and the
Pilates is cool
pains.
for that too, for stretching out your spine. I don't know if you've ever tried it. Pilates
Hmm. I've done
is cool
the
for
mat
stretching out your
Pilates.
spine. Huh?
You talking
Yeah.
about like machine Pilates, the one where they're on
No, no,
those?
no. It's like you go to a class. Yeah, it's like a little rowing type of
Yeah, yeah,
machine, but you
okay.
do it with someone, and it's pretty much all about like just stretching things out. But it's
Hmm,
cool because it creates space in your spine, which is
okay.
where the
I've never
issues
done the
like
machine
can
one,
get.
so I'll give it a try, you know?
Yeah, dude. Every time I do it, I feel like I'm taller.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I want to try it. I mean, your physique is impeccable, bro. I was, like I said, I saw it on the Instagram, and I'm like, yo, I
Oh,
gotta
thank you.
get right, man. I gotta get right.
I
You
appreciate
know,
you.
like I
I
gotta get my shit together, man.
A lot of it is diet too, though.
What's your eating like?
Dude, so I've for the last like probably 4 or 5 years, I've been doing like the Dr. Sebi diet. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
I am familiar
Um,
with him, but never heard of the diet. Because he's
well,
anti-inflammation, right? Like
he's yeah, essentially it's about eating non-hybridized foods. The only thing is I do cheat because I do eat meat and fish every now and then, but I mostly eat only what's called like heirloom fruits and vegetables. So I'll give you an example. A kiwi, you've
mm,
heard of a kiwi, right? The fruit.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, so a kiwi, I believe, is a cross between a pineapple and a strawberry. It's
Oh,
not like
word. I
it's
did
not
not
like a
know that.
natural. Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
well, shit.
I don't know, just so many things. Yeah, Brussels sprouts. Um,
Brussels sprouts are
so
a
many.
cross of something too?
Oh yeah, broccoli. So many things are a cross of other things, and what happens is it. Although those foods are very tasty and they're still green and they still have, you know, nutrients and stuff, they don't have like the same effect on your body. He's the doctor. I'm not the doctor, but I've read his whole book and I kind of understand it, but not enough to like teach it, I
Right,
guess.
right, right.
But I mean, it's worked for me big
Yeah.
time.
Did you feel a difference? When you say works, do you mean in terms of being lean, or you mean just in feeling good? Like,
Staying lean, feeling strong. I mean, dude, and I run like 10 to 15 miles twice a week,
hmm,
no problem.
okay.
Plus, then on the other days, I lift weights. Um,
I'm
and
gonna
I've
have
been
to
doing
look
that
into
for,
that. I want to
yeah.
check it out because I think inflammation is definitely a factor, in the pain for sure. Like, you know, um, I've not done several surgeries because I don't want to do surgery, you know.
It's hard to come back from a surgery.
Yeah, and I don't trust them, you know, like the minute they looked at my neck, they're like, yo, we'll replace the disc, no worries. I'm like, why? He's like, yeah, he pulls out a fake disc. He's like, pop, pop, boom, 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 you go home, no problem. And I'm like, I hardly believe that it's papa boom,
I
no
hardly
problem.
believe that it's Papa
You
Poo.
know,
No
like,
problem.
yeah, no way, man. You know, like, you know, my current physical therapist he used to work in the post-op unit. And he says, yo,
Okay.
whatever you do not do surgery. He said, you don't need it, you know, and there's no guarantee it'll stop the pain. There's no guarantee they won't damage other nerves. There's no guarantee of nothing. And you'll end up the same, worst, and maybe there's a 10% chance you're okay. He's like, no, it's not worth the risk. And he's like, I'm telling you, as a guy who worked in a post-op. In fact, he knew the doctor I mentioned, and he told me that guy ruined a lot of people's necks that didn't need it, and they ended up worse with other nerve pain and, you know. So I
Papa
was like,
Poo
oh,
Poo Poo.
yeah, the Papa Poo guy, bro. He said, he looked at me and he said, was your doctor Dr. Mercer? And I was like, yeah. He's like, stay away from that guy. You know, like, stay away from that guy. He knew the guy's name. I didn't tell him. He said, if you're working with this guy, that guy has ruined so many people, like ruined so many necks. And I said, all right, we're not
That
doing
was
that.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so working with him, you know, like I've made progress, you know, 50-50, you know, 50% of the time I'm in excruciating pain. I need drugs. 50% I'm okay, which is still better than 100% I need drugs, you know. So
100%. Yeah, definitely.
I take that as a W. And you know, I was like, listen, man, I can't swing this. So I'm gonna have to stop coming. And he's like, you mentioned the computer. Why don't we trade? Because you need this, you know. So I'm willing to barter. I need a computer, you need therapy. Boom, you know. It's like, all right. He's like, what were you gonna sell it for? I was like, $2,000. He said, it's a souped up, you know, powerful gaming computer. And you know, we did that, and I'm working with him on that. And, you know,
Nice.
yeah, progress, dude. Listen, man, I've kept you on quite a long time, man. You know, I guess if you know you have anything you want to let folks know about your social media and everything, you know, it's been a pleasure talking with you, bro. I have enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. I've enjoyed it too. I feel like I was just talking to my friend, just catching up.
Yeah, bro. It's so cool when the conversations are like that, because they're not always like that, you know. Like I know like a conversation is vibing because I'll see that we've been on over an hour, right? There's some of them that are shorter because I feel like the person's uncomfortable or they're not,
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I've noticed that sometimes people just they seem like they're not comfortable talking to me, and I don't want to keep them uncomfortable. So I'll just chat for a few minutes and then I'm like, hey, listen, I appreciate you. And you know,
Yeah. So wait, what was the question again?
I'll just plug anything you have, you know, any
Oh yeah.
you know, any social media, you know, let the folks know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, you guys could I'm pretty active on Instagram actually. So if you guys want to follow me, my handle is Franky, Franky Huerta, Huerta on Instagram. And I'm pretty good at posting stuff there, better than I am anywhere else. You know, that's probably the best way to see what I'm up to, what my new things are, things like this.
Well, dude, it's been a pleasure. I'm gonna eat a sandwich. I have my therapist at 5, you know, so I gotta feed my dog and eat my breakfast because I fast as well. So I fasted pretty deep into the day.
Oh,
You
did
know?
you? Nice,
Yeah,
bro.
this will be
I discovered that not too long ago, and it's changed my life.
cool. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna look into this. I should write that down too. The Sebi diet. I'm gonna check that out. See how what he does.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna try
I think
it.
he calls it the alkaline diet.
Okay. Yeah, alkaline is good. I've read about that. Keeping your body. Yeah. Cool. Dude, it's been a pleasure, brother. I'll connect with you
Likewise,
on social,
Angel.
man.
Hell yeah, man. Hit me up. I'll follow you back.
Bet. All right,
Thank you,
bro.
man.
Hey, thanks for coming on.
Later.
Suave.
Thank you.
All right, peace.
Peace. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
You are listening to the NYC Talking podcast. www.nyctalking.com. Please like NYC Talking on Facebook. Please follow Angel R Talk on Twitter and Instagram. We are NYC Talking, the realest lifestyle blog ever. Thanks for listening.